Without a doubt, this is the biggest unboxing I've ever done on this channel. Maybe not size-wise, but for sure, sheer mass. Apple dropped a ton of new computers this month, so I decided to channel my inner Detroit Borg and get pretty much every single one of them. Here is a high-end 27-inch iMac. Here is the lower-end 21.5-inch iMac. This is the 15-inch Space Gray Touch Bar MacBook Pro, and last but not least, the lowest-end non-Touch Bar 13-inch MacBook Pro. This may be a terrible idea. So my debate is if I should go from smallest to biggest, and I think what I'll do is I'll go from cheapest to most expensive. That's gonna give us a nice cross pattern here to here to here to here. That means we're gonna start with the 13-inch MacBook Pro, which again is the cheapest MacBook Pro you can buy. This is the non-touch bar model. Maybe people don't need it. This might be a fantastic option. Nothing more satisfying than some sweet, sweet. We have the USB-C cable, some literature, and that USB-C power brick. I wish everything would go USB-C. Nothing really new has changed on the outside with these MacBook Pros. It has all been internally upgraded. So on the outside, they look exactly the same as last year. Drop that. So next up is the 21.5-inch iMac. And from what I've seen, this is the $1499 configuration, and I think it might be the best bang for your buck, which is really strange as far as Apple products go. But iMac unboxings are always a really smooth experience. I am potentially gonna murder that. Bring it down. Keyboard, mouse. Oh no. Oh, I hate styrofoam. I'm sorry. Why did I think this was a good idea? Why is the top not coming off? It has been a while since I've seen a 21.5-inch iMac in person. They always look like, that's not good. Okay. All right, power supply next. Let's undress this guy. The baby iMac. God, there's so much plastic with these things. iMac 1 out, box, go away. 13-inch MacBook Pro out, 21.5-inch iMac out. I'm gonna give you that sweet view of the backside so you don't stare at some glossy reflections. Cheapest to most expensive. This is the highest end GPU you can get, so I'm pretty excited to see as far as performance goes. I've actually still been using my 2016 MacBook Pro and haven't really got a chance to see the performance bump on these, so I'm kind of nerding out a little bit for that. We got baby brothers and bigger brothers in every shape and form right now. Of course, all space gray. I wish these were space gray, but unfortunately we're gonna have to wait for the iMac Pro for that. For reference, quick size comparison. 13-inch MacBook Pro, 15-inch MacBook Pro, smashed next to the 21.5-inch iMac. So I'm gonna set these down. Actually, let's get a little stack action. You guys saw what came with the 13-inch MacBook Pro. It's exactly the same, minus a slightly bigger, more powerful power brick with the 15-inch MacBook Pro. 15-inch MacBook Pro away, and we are on to the Big Daddy, the 27-inch iMac. Again, much like the 15-inch MacBook Pro, this is pretty specced out. Highest end GPU, 512 gigs of that sweet fast flash storage. Hopefully it's that was much easier than the 21-inch model. This is a terrible idea. Okay, there we go. We are almost there. Oh, that was nice. That was like a nice rip. One more piece of plastic, and we got the whole family completed. 27-inch iMac here. We're gonna go 21.5-inch iMac here. 15-inch MacBook Pro, 13-inch MacBook Pro. And before I continue, I want to give a huge shout out to LastPass for making this craziness possible. So huge shout out to LastPass for sponsoring this video. With LastPass, they eliminate the need to worry about remembering passwords and potentially getting locked out of your account. True story, Rich actually missed out on a pair of zebras this weekend because he could not remember his password. With LastPass, you don't need to write, remember, or even reset those passwords. They essentially do all the work for you and put you on autopilot mode so you can do things like unbox an insane amount of computing machines. Now I get it, you love grandma, but it's not always the most convenient thing in the world trying to remember her maiden name when you're trying to figure out that security question. This is gonna allow you not to do that. Plus on top of that, it's also gonna enable you to never use the same password on every single website. Hopefully you're not doing that. Hopefully you're not using 1, 2, 3, 4. If you are any of those people, make sure you guys check out LastPass, which is linked down below. Now for reference, this 13-inch MacBook Pro is the only dual-core machine. This, and this are all quad-core. Right off the bat, by far, as far as price to performance goes, this is hands down the most impressive. On Geekbench 4, we got a single-core score of 4,924. Multi-core was 14,215. And why that is so impressive is this. This is a $2,800 MacBook Pro. It scored 4,776 on the single core score side and 15,851. So this, on the single core side, outperformed this MacBook Pro. It was really, really close on the multi-core side. Now for comparison, this 13-inch MacBook Pro did pretty well on the single core side, 4,516. Obviously, you are getting nowhere near the power on the multi-core side with 2 cores versus 4 here. That scored 9,497. But as we move over to the Giant, this is the clear winner as far as performance goes. Single core score of 5,805, and then we hop over to the multi-core score, 19,737. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and test out the disk speed test performance. This is actually the only oddball here as far as that goes. All 3 of these machines are pure fast flash storage, whereas this is the Fusion drive. Still though, a much better option than a 7,200 RPM hard drive, or for whatever reason, Apple still sells a 5,400 RPM hard drive in the baseline iMac. It is 2017 and no one should use that. So hopping over to the 21.5-inch iMac, as far as performance goes, this is 357 megabytes per second on the write and then 566 megabytes per second on the read. So jumping over to this MacBook Pro, that is where we really start to see the speed gains as far as flash storage goes. On the right side, this scored 686 megabytes per second, whereas read was a crazy fast 1,848 megabytes a second. Where we see the absolute fastest performance though is when we hop over to this MacBook Pro and this 27-inch iMac. On the right side here, this was 1,987 megabytes per second, and then read 2,415. Same story here, where the right side comes in at 1,990 megabytes per second and the read side 2,547, so just slightly faster than the MacBook Pro, but still both of these are crazy fast. Now whether you go from the 27-inch iMac or the 21.5-inch iMac, both of these, in addition to the USB 3 ports, also have Thunderbolt 3 in the USB-C flavor. So you definitely have more port options compared to the MacBook Pros. These are stuck with just Thunderbolt 3 ports in that USB-C flavor. Now one more thing that I think often gets overlooked with these iMacs is the fact that on top of the computer inside, there is a beautiful display attached. This is a 21.5-inch 4K display, whereas this is a big, beautiful 27-inch 5K display. And yes, the specs may not be as thick or as meaty as the PC master race may want, but all in all, they are pretty solid machines. Ultimately, what I've seen here is I think this is surprisingly the best bang for your buck as far as the Mac goes. You're getting great performance. The only downside I would say would be the Fusion drive. So if you do go this route and you can't upgrade to pure flash storage, that is gonna be the best total experience. This one is still a great value. If you need the power plus the portability, the 15-inch MacBook Pro is the way you want to go. And if you need the most power, it is clearly the 27-inch iMac. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, and you're feeling like being awesome, make sure to drop a like down below. This is Jonathan, and I'll catch you guys later.